So we just covered menu upsell, which is one of my favorite upsells ever. The anchor upsell is one that is so powerful. It's one of those like very simple ones that can make you a tremendous amount of money. And so what the menu upsell has in elegance, the anchor upsell has in brute force. So let's dive in. Here's how I learned it. Description, examples, important points, same as before. Let's rock and roll. So I had spent 5 years plus in casual clothes, sweats and a tank top as a gym owner. Like the nicest thing I ever wore was a tank top. And so when I started Gym Launch, somebody that I knew advised me to look professional. He said, listen, no one's going to listen to you for business stuff if you look like just a gym rat. And so I said, okay, I'll listen to you. And so he said, don't worry, I've got a guy at a suit shop that I know, and he'll hook you up. And he told the owner I was coming. So I mentally budgeted $500 for a suit. So I was like, this is a lot of money. So, I'm gonna ball out for this. So I entered the shop, made some small talk, and he was like, so what do you want? I was like, I want a boss suit. And he was like, okay, mind you, I'm like 26, whatever. And so I tried, so he gives me the suit. I tried on. I felt cool. He's like, how do you feel? I was like, I feel like a boss. And he's probably laughing at himself. So anyways, I'm looking at stuff in the mirror. And so then I like kind of look down at the tag that's on the arm. And when I pull it over, it says $16,000. And I still can remember the blood just draining from my face, being like, dude, 16 grand? I was like, that's a car. And I was like, oh God, like, what did I get? Because my friend had referred me. So I was like, I don't want to look like a fool here. And they had prepped this stuff. So the sales guy, who was the owner, he was also a third generation tailor, obviously not his first rodeo. I looked at, I was like, hey, he's like, he could see that I was a little distraught from the price. And he's like, hey, do you care much about the brand of the suit? And I was like, oh no, I don't care. I just wanted to look cool. And he was like, oh, don't worry. So he had already prepared, and this is key, other suits next to me. And so he took this one off and he says, hey, try this on for size. And just like immediately. So at this one, he's like, how does this one look? And I'm like, great. Like, I didn't even want to like think about potentially having this suit. So I then pull it over and it says 2 grand. And I'm like, all right, like it's more than I wanted, but like at least this is not a car. Like I can get out of here, without embarrassing myself. And so he's like, do you like it? I said, sure. I ended up buying like $500 in like shirts and socks that went with the suit. And spent, I think, $2,500 or 3 grand, something like that, on the way out the door. As I went through the process later, I thought to myself, I came in with a $500 budget and I ended up spending 5 or 6 times my budget. And I was like, how did that happen? And I realized that the first thing I saw was $16,000 and it just made everything seem like nothing. And so Roy Sutherland actually tells a story about this with Rolls-Royce. So Rolls-Royce stopped showing their cars at car shows because if you have all these different cars and then you see a $400,000 car, it seems egregious. And so what they started doing was showing their Rolls-Royces at plane and yacht shows. So if you just decided not to buy a $50 million jet, a $400,000 car feels like candy on the way out the door. And so everything is relative in terms of what the price is being positioned against. And so I was like, man, that was really powerful. And it changed how I saw sales. And so that is what happens. I spent 5 times more than my original budget and ended up spending $300 on accessories and shirts, which I never normally would have spent. But it felt like nothing compared to the new $2,200 suit or whatever that I bought. So that is how I learned the anchor upsell. Now, here's how it works. So anchor upsells involve offering premium items first. Key first. If the customer is shocked by the price, you offer a cheaper alternative by changing secondary features. And this is what's key about this. So presenting a premium version first at 5 to 10 times the price makes the other offer, our main offer, the one that we sell to most people, look like a better deal. And so this strategy leads to more people buying the main offer. And so it works best when the lower priced offer has the same core functions as the premium one. It has the same primary features. So the second $2,200 suit still looked good. It still felt good. It still had a good, trim or whatever. It looked expensive, but it just wasn't Armani or whatever else, whatever other brand he had. And so for me, the secondary feature of the brand mattered very little because I was like, no one's going to ask me for the brand of suit I'm wearing. They just want to, I need to look cool, right? And so the thing is that every offer, every product has primary features and secondary features. You want these secondary features to be different between your really expensive one and your minor one. But if it's just a little bit different and it's 1/8 the price, people are like, oh, this is a steal now because of what we showed them first. In the suit example, $2,200 suit seemed like a better deal compared to the $16,000 one. Two additional benefits of anchor upsells that happen as a result. Number one is that customers tend to spend more than they initially planned. I spent 5 times what I was willing to spend. Two, some customers will still opt for the expensive option. He probably has done that with a lot of guys. And maybe 1 out of 5 guys buys the $16,000 suit. And guess what happens? When you take a $16,000 suit and divide it by 5, that adds $3,000 to every average purchase. So my $2,000 suit actually becomes a $5,000 suit in terms of the economics of the business. So even if 1 out of 5 or 1 out of 10 people buy something 10 times as expensive, if you have 1 out of 10 buy something 10 times as expensive, you double your business. Not to mention the increased uptake rates and average spend of all the other customers. So like I said, the menu upsell we talked about earlier, very elegant, very savage, really good for high volume transaction businesses. This one, a fucking ramrod for businesses that have fewer customers that spend lots of money. Basically, this can still make you more money than the menu upsell can, even though it's just very simple to understand. So here are the steps to using an anchor upsell. You present the anchor, the really expensive thing. Step 1. Step 2, get the gasp. All right, expect customers to freak out about the cost. That's expected. If you didn't do it, you didn't anchor high enough. That's why I say 10 times the price. So if you're like, I don't know, is this an anchor? Like I added 20%. It's not an anchor. It has to be an order of magnitude larger. It has to be so much larger that it gets you to recategorize your original purchase. Like think about it. Buying planes and buying yachts compared to buying a car. Totally different magnitude. It can't be, it can't be within 100%. It's got to be 5x, 10x more. Once you get the gasp, you come to the rescue. You ask if they care about what makes it premium, those secondary features. Do you care about the material or the internal lining, stuff that most people won't care about? Then you present your main offer and you expect the customer to feel relieved and see the better deal. Then you just ask how they want to pay, which card you prefer. So here's some pro tips. Number 1 is the only thing worse than making a $1,000 offer to a person with a $100 budget is making a $100 offer to someone with a $1,000 budget. In the first situation, you lose $100. In the second situation, you lose $900. I've lost tons of customers and mountains of cash because customers wanted more than I had to offer. Boo. So now I always have premium upsells ready. Anchors. Only a handful of customers buy them, but that handful of customers bring in big profits. So always have premium offers, even if most people don't buy them. You're not failing if 1 out of 10 people buy a 10 times more expensive offer. You still double your business. Remember, you're not losing customers by offering premium stuff first, but you will lose money if you don't. All right, let's do some examples. First one, we'll do a local lawn care service. So the premium anchor is get my cell phone number, fancy mulch, natural pest control, bi-weekly yard maintenance for $1,000 a week. It's crazy. Big shock. No worries. Get my foreman's number, my team, my crew chief's number, generic mulch, normal pest control, bi-weekly yard maintenance for $200 a week. Yeah, I'll do that one. Because it's almost the same thing. At the end of the day, it's like, and they'll probably be like, is my, yard going to look any different? It's like, well, not really. It just really depends on how much you care about the quality of the soil. Now, for the guy who cares about the quality of the soil, he's going to buy this thing. But for everybody else, which 80% of people don't give a rat's poo about the quality of this other stuff, they're like, no, I'll take the 200. But they don't know that you couldn't price this at 200 because last week when you offered 200 straight up, people were nickel and diming you down to 150 or 99 a week. So physical product, a painting. The anchor would be the super protective packaging, a 20-year insurance, and gift wrap for $1,000. The main offer is normal packaging and 1-year insurance and a sticker for $200. You're like, I'll take the normal one. The thing is that you want the customer to feel reasonable by making the purchase, like they're getting a better deal, like they're pulling one over on you. They're like, this guy thinks I want 1,000. Like, he doesn't even know that this is basically the same thing. And it's like 1/5 the price. But you designed the game. They're just playing it. Third is a digital product. So let's say it's a newsletter. So the premium anchor would be like, hey, all previous issues and new issues and 24-hour early access to my newsletters for $199 a month. Or new issues only, and you'll just get it on time for $19 a month. You're like, shit, yeah, I'll do the, I mean, it'd be cool to get the 24 hours early, but like, I'll just take the new ones. Like, that's fine. And it's 1/10 the price. And so now this feels like an absolute steal, but you might have been competing against people at $7 a month before that. All right, here's some important points about this. This is crucial. You will fail at doing an anchor upsell if you do not treat it seriously. So if you treat the anchor like a fake, so will the customer. If the guy had put it on my shoulders and been like, it's probably out of your range, or said, well, that would be a little insulting. But if he's like, hey, if this isn't, in your range, like no big deal, then I would have been anchored because I wouldn't have considered the purchase. You have to have them fully consider the purchase, really try and think, oh God, how would I come up with this? And here's what happens is that your brain or their brain starts justifying why it might be worth that amount of money. And then when you offer something 1/10 the price, they've already done all the heavy lifting of anchoring, of comparing why it might be worth that. And then compared to this price, it's totally worth it. And that's what we change as little as we can from the thing that they thought about to the thing that they ultimately buy. The next point, make a premium offer that you actually want people to buy. If you have this premium offer that has all these bells and whistles, be ready to service it. Because let me tell you the real secret of what ends up happening when people do this. They 10x their price and they make this really whiz bang thing. And then more than 1 out of 10 people buy it. And so this is just also a great way to give yourself permission to anchor something 10 times as expensive. A proper anchor gets the gasp. Expect them, design for them. You want the gasp. The gasp means they considered it. If they do not gasp, it either means you didn't go high enough or you didn't sell hard enough. As in you didn't truthfully commit to actually selling that thing. Like you have to in earnest present it or this will not work. It'll just be a waste of your time and theirs. And this is especially for business owners. If you teach your team this process, many of them will just skirt through the anchor because they start selling from their wallet. They're going to be like, I would never pay for this. It's like, of course you wouldn't. You already know how to fix cars. This guy doesn't. And so we often can never see the value of the stuff we sell because for us, it's easy. Duh. That's why we have a business around it. You want to sell stuff that's easy for you and hard for other people. That's how you make money. Once you get the gasp, you come to the rescue. And if they don't balk, like if they don't gasp, close the whale. If they're like, this is a nice suit, then you're like, great. Do you have a card on file? Do you want to pair this with a handkerchief? You just move right on in the sale. And you're like, oh God, I got a whale on the line. I'm just going to keep going. To get more people to buy your main offer, make it a better deal. So this is the primary versus secondary features. You want it to be as little different from the main one, from the anchor, as possible, so that they justified the price already at this 10 times higher price. And when they hear this one, they're like, oh, this is a steal. Because if you make your good one too different from the core offer that you're ultimately trying to sell 80% of people, then they actually have to reconsider the offer again. They have to recalibrate price to value. You want them to basically be able to take the same price to value measurement they did here and then here an 80% discount or a 90% discount because the things that you changed were not the things they cared about. But if you all of a sudden have all these things they do care about, then you changed primary features, not secondary features. So if you present a more expensive offer first before a less expensive offer, more people will buy the less expensive offer than they would have on its own. When you present the anchor, get the gasp, come to the rescue, present the core offer, ask for payment. For the most effective anchor, make your premium offer 5 to 10 times more expensive. Anchored customers spend a bit more than they plan to, and don't treat an anchor like a fake, or the customer will too, and you will lose trust and waste their time. Important, some customers will buy a premium offer. That is where you make way more money on this because one, more people buy the main thing, and some people will buy the very expensive thing. The expensive premium offer adds outsized profits with fewer sales. So just because you don't sell the most of it doesn't mean you don't make the most profit from it. The main offer and premium offer should have the same primary features. The premium offer has different secondary, aka premium features. After anchoring, offering the primary features for 1/3 or 1/5 or 1/10 the price makes the main offer a great deal. It gives them basically the same thing for way less. That is the anchor upsell.